Oh my God, it's balls hot. Hello and welcome back to another video. My name is Heather and as always I am reading with a vengeance, and as always I hope you are as well. I hope everybody is doing very, very well. Welcome back if you are a returning viewer, and if you are new to my channel, a very warm welcome. I'm very glad that you are all here. Today, oh my gosh, it has been a crazy couple of weeks. I hope everybody's having a good summer. It's been very busy. So I just got back from a weekend in Laconia, New Hampshire, and my husband is a motorcycle enthusiast. So if there's any motorcycle people out there, you know what Laconia is, but it's basically a motorcycle festival. It's called Bike Week, but it takes place over 2 weekends in Laconia, New Hampshire, and this is the second year that my husband and I have been. We go for a long weekend. We went up on Friday and came back yesterday, Monday. I'm recording this on a Tuesday. Super fun time, lots of wonderful people watching, hundreds and hundreds of motorcycles, and it was a really good time. But we got back from that yesterday, and then tomorrow morning, at the butt crack of dawn, I leave to go fly out to California just for a couple of days for a family event. And so, yeah, so this is my one and only day this week to record. So I hope this doesn't feel rushed. I'm going to try to give this the time and energy that it deserves. But I'm super excited. I've already had a really fun time with preparing for this video. I'll tell you why in just a second. Of course, as you can see from the title, these are books that I am recommending and talking about to show appreciation for Pride Month. Of course, June is Pride Month. I hadn't originally planned on making this particular video. I'm not gonna pretend to know every nook and cranny about Pride. I just know that I'm a supporter as far as being able to live your life and love who you want to love always without threat of injury or death or loss of rights that are basic to all humans. But I hadn't planned to make this video, but then I fell down a rabbit hole. I think I came across an article, and I can't even remember at this point how I came across it, but it were books to read during Pride Month. And I saw a couple of titles that I already have on my TBR. And I thought, well, if these books that I'm already excited about are on this list, what else is on this list? And so then I fell down this rabbit hole, and one article led to another article, which led to another article, which led to another article. And I now have probably 30 some odd books that I've already added to my TBR. So it ended up being 5 separate lists on 5 different websites that I went down and looked at all these books. And so full disclosure, while I haven't read these books I'm about to recommend and share with you yet, they are books that I have researched and decided. I mean, I don't just add books to my TBR willy-nilly. I want to be excited to read them. So these are books that I have added to my TBR. Now, I'm not going to talk about 30 books or all the books that I'd be interested with this particular topic and or theme because this video would be hours and hours long. So what I did is I took the books that I am super interested in, added them to my TBR, and then I decided that it's so much more fun to film a video when I have the physical book here, and I know as a Booktube watcher that I like it when the Booktuber has a physical copy of the book. It's just a preference. It's not like I think any less if anybody, because I pop up pictures also, and sometimes it's just a necessity, but I decided that I would share with you in this particular video the books that I was able to get my hands on at my local library. So I have 14 books. I have 13 books. 13 books that I am going to share with you on this particular video. However, I'm going to link below the websites that I found all these books on, because there are so many more books than I have time to share with you in this video. So many. So I'm gonna link those websites down below so that you can fall down the rabbit hole yourself and maybe draw some more books to add to your TBR in addition to these ones. that I'm going to share with you. Also, what I wanted to do was I also wanted to share booktubers who are members of the LGBTQIA community to recommend, but somebody beat me to it and I thought it would just be easier. There's many out there, but Emma over at Book Break did a video of recommending booktubers from the community, and I will link her channel and that particular video down below also for you to check out. So I'm strictly talking about books today. Like I said, I have 13 that are split somewhat evenly. I have 7 fiction books and then I have 6 nonfiction books, mostly memoir, I believe. Of my fiction books, I have 2 from YA. I think I have 1 mystery, 1 romance, and then the others are 3 are adult fiction. Without further ado, let's talk about the books. So the first 2 I'm going to talk about are YA fiction novels, and I found these from the website called The Cut, which is a women's website. They talk about everything: politics, culture, style, sex, love, relationships, all that kind of stuff. 2 of the ones that I picked from the list that they had are young adult. The first one is called Two Boys Kissing by David Levithan. And the remark that is made on the website is by June Dawson, who is the author of Her Majesty's Royal Coven. She says, this is a cathartic lyrical novel charting the interlocking love lives of several young people and an attempt to break the world record for the longest kiss ever. The story is narrated by a melancholy Greek chorus of dead AIDS patients, yet remains full of love and blistering optimism for the next generation of LGBTQ plus people. So on the back, it says, the 2 boys kissing are Craig and Harry. They're hoping to set the world's record for longest kiss. They're not a couple, but they used to be. Peter and Neil are a couple. Their kisses are different. Avery and Ryan have only just met and are trying to figure out what happens next. Both of them worry that something will go wrong. Cooper is alone. It's getting to the point where he doesn't really feel things anymore. These boys, along with their friends and families, form a tapestry that will reveal love of all kinds, open and eager, tentative and cautious, pained and scared. New York Times bestselling author David Levithan has sewn together their lives into a redemptive whole life that, as the Los Angeles Times called it, open, frank, ultimately optimistic. Super excited about this one. The next book I'll talk about, actually this has made the rounds on Booktube. It has been talked a lot about, but the more I read about it, the more I got excited about, and that is The Henna Wars by Adiba Jaigirdar. I apologize for that. The back says, I want to think this is just something girls do, that it means nothing, but I'm 100% sure the way she's looking at me, not the way friends look at each other. So yes, this has been talked about a lot on Booktube. I'm really sorry about the shine. These are all library books. But yeah, once I fell down that rabbit hole and I read what someone else said about it, it just it hooked me in even more. And I will share. So the quote on the website, this is also from The Cut. This is by Peyton Thomas, who's the author of Both Sides Now. It says, I love The Henna Wars most for its essential honesty. The author captures so much of what it is to be a queer girl, a brown girl, a hairline fracture away from your normie classmates. She writes high school sweethearts, Nishat and Flavia, with a deft hand, making them messy and prone to mishap, but gracing both with a soft landing by the last page. So yeah, I'm super excited about this one. The next 2 books I found on the NPR website, and I believe this first one I have seen on Booktube, not a whole lot, but this is a romance, I'm pretty sure. Yep, this is adult romance, and this is Love and Other Disasters by Anita Kelly. I'm not huge into romance, but this one sounded super fun. I'll read what is said on the website that hooked me. It says, sometimes love can bloom in unexpected places like cooking competitions. Recently divorced and stuck in a job she hates, Dahlia Woodson hopes that Chef Special, a cooking contest for amateur chefs, can give her a chance for a fresh start. Though considering her finances, a shot at the grand prize wouldn't hurt. Is anybody else out there kind of addicted to cooking shows on television? Oh my God, Master Chef, Hell's Kitchen, Top Chef, all those shows are just, I don't know what it is. How How are they so popular? I love them. Anyway, in any case, she's certainly not looking for romance when she embarrasses herself in front of London Parker, the show's first non-binary contestant who hopes to use the wins to open a nonprofit for queer teens. The pair can't deny the spark between them, and they soon find themselves embroiled in a romance on and off the screen. So this one sounds like fun for more than a few reasons. And the other one I found on the NPR website I haven't heard of, but it sounds so intriguing, and I think this one's listed as a mystery on Goodreads, and that is The Verifiers by Jane Peck. And what is said about this one is Claudia Lynn has a couple of secrets. Her mother is still trying to fix Claudia up with a nice Chinese boy, and no one in her family knows that she has quit the low-level finance job her brother found for her to work for Veracity, a company that helps clients investigate and verify the people they meet on dating sites. One day, Iris, a mysterious client with an unusual request, shows up at Veracity's offices. She's investigating individuals she has met online but is no longer in contact with, but when she turns up dead, missing an important appointment, Claudia is told to drop the case. Obviously, this isn't an option. Taking inspiration from her literary hero, Inspector Yuan, Claudia sets out to uncover the truth behind Iris's death, human heart, and our online world. So this one sounded intriguing to me. The front of it has a quote by Emily St. John Mandel, who we also know is a Booktube darling. This book is exhilaratingly well written. I loved it so much that I didn't want it to end. So what it doesn't say on the website, but it says on the back of the book, is Claudia is used to keeping things from her family, such as that she prefers girls. So at first I was wondering, I'm like, how is this on a recommended for Pride Month book? But that's it. But I do like how it combines that theme with the theme of the Chinese culture as well. So, and then turns it into a mystery genre, so which I love. So the next book I'm going to talk about, I found on a website called Pure Wow, which is also a women's website that talks about everything, politics, style, relationships, that kind of website geared towards women. And so they had their own list as well. And this one is called Everyone in This Room Will Someday Be Dead by Emily Austin. Looks like this. I have never heard of this book. Interesting title. And it says on the website, Gilda is a 20-something animal-loving lesbian atheist who can't stop thinking about death. Desperate for relief from her panicky mind, she decides to go to free therapy at a local Catholic church. There she's greeted by Father Jeff, who assumes she's there for a job interview. Too embarrassed to correct him, Gilda is abruptly hired to replace the church's recently deceased receptionist. From trying to memorize the lines to Catholic Mass to hiding the fact that she has a new girlfriend, Gilda's story is equal parts heartwarming and deadpan funny. I am super excited about this one. I mean, animal lover, atheist, mental health issues it looks like in here, and it's gonna have humor in it. This seems like right up my street. I can't wait to get into this one. This next one I'm going to talk about, I got a CNN, the news network, put out a list as well. And I couldn't help but be intrigued by the books that were on that list. And so I picked a couple from there. This first one is called The Prophets by Robert Jones Jr. So this is a debut novel. It says on the website about the book, Jones' best-selling debut novel features the lyrical story of Isaiah and Samuel, two enslaved men on a plantation in Mississippi who find refuge in their love for one another in the face of violence and unimaginable cruelty. Ooh, this one looks like it's gonna be tough to read. For some reason, this kind of has Razorblade Tears vibes. This one's definitely on my TBR, but it's gonna be one of those books I think I'm gonna have to have the right mindset for, but absolutely excited for it. The next book I'm gonna talk about, I've seen a couple of places on Booktube, so this isn't, I'm not recreating the wheel or anything like that, but this is Less by Andrew Sean Greer. This is the last fiction book that I'm going to talk about. Looks like it's the winner of the Pulitzer Prize. It says on the website, Greer's smart, hilarious, Pulitzer Prize-winning 2017 novel follows Arthur Less, a middle-aged failed author who decides to travel the world to various and questionable literary events rather than accept an invitation to attend his ex-boyfriend's wedding. What and who he encounters along the way will have you doubled over with laughter. This sounds like so much fun, and it sounds like a book that has books in it, so that's also super fun. So yes, I'm very much looking forward to this one. On to the nonfiction books, which I am very excited to get to. The first two that I'm going to talk about also were on the CNN list. The CNN, definitely check the CNN list. Like I said, I'll have it linked down below. Lots on there. It was very hard to choose which one. Actually, I let the library choose which one I was going to showcase on this video because they were the only ones that were available at my library. At least right now, there were a couple I think that were checked out. But anyways, the first three nonfiction were on the CNN list. The first is Fairest by Meredith Talusman. I'm not sure, super shiny. And this is a memoir. The website says, in this coming of age memoir, you know I love a good coming of age, Talusan writes of her extraordinary life from being raised in the Philippines with albinism to immigrating to America, being seen as white, attending Harvard, and transitioning to a woman. Gender, race, identity, love, art. It's no wonder Talusan's book is a finalist for the 2021 Lambda Literary Award for transgender nonfiction. Woo! It's got all the good stuff. This one, I mean, seems clear why I picked this one to add to my TBR. Let me read a little bit on the inside flap here. It just sounds so intriguing. Fairest is a memoir about a precocious boy with albinism, a son child from a rural Philippine village who would grow up to become a woman in America. Coping with the strain of parental neglect and the elusive promise of U.S. citizenship, Meredith Talusan found childhood comfort from her devoted grandmother, a grounding force as she was treated by others with special preference or public curiosity. Yeah, this one I think is going to be one that I need to be in the mindset for as well, but sounds like it's going to be beautiful. This next one I'm super excited for because, as you know, I love a graphic novel. This one is called Fun Home, a Family Tragicomic by Alison Bechdel. Beautiful cover, a little bit shiny, got some foil there. But this is a graphic memoir, which I just love it when they combine those two genres. It surrounds her relationship with her father, a high school teacher who also runs a funeral home, which her family called the Fun Home in their rural Pennsylvania town. After coming out as a lesbian in college, she finds her dad is also gay, but he dies from an apparent suicide soon after she learns this, leaving unanswered questions. Adopted for the stage, the Broadway production of Fun Home won the Tony for Best Musical in 2015. I did not know it was a musical. So yeah, I'm probably gonna blaze through this in the next couple of days because it's, you know, it's graphic novel, I'll get through it quickly. This next book I'm gonna talk about definitely has made the rounds on Booktube, so it is not going to be new to your ears, but that is In the Dreamhouse by Carmen Maria Machado. So I have been wanting to read this even though I attempted to read her collection of short stories called Her Body and Other Parties. Her Body and Other Parts. I couldn't get into it, couldn't wrap my brain around it. From what I have heard from other people who have read this and talk about it, and then someone I think specifically commented on the video in which I talked about that collection of short stories said, do yourself a favor and give her another chance and read this. Of course, I am going to listen to people in the book community. What I have heard about this is that it is a memoir, but it is told in a very unique way. This is from, I found this on NBC News, put out a list of recommendations for books for Pride Month. And it says on the website, Machado tackles this stigma in the Dreamhouse, a harrowing memoir about the abuse she endured at the hands of a partner in graduate school. While the work is technically a memoir, it also incorporates elements of romance, science fiction, westerns, etc. But the memoir's genre-bending form is only one way in which Machado unsettles the reader in this story when it comes to reclaiming the parts of yourself that have grown most alien. So, it's not a very big book. It's somewhat short. Let me see. It's only 240 pages. So I might blow through this one too this weekend. I have a couple of very long flights ahead of me in the next few days, so I might be able to get through a few. And the next one also was from the CNN website, and that is Tomorrow Will Be Different, Love, Loss, and the Fight for Trans Equality by Sarah McBride. So the website says, before she became America's first openly transgender state senator, McBride wrote this powerful 2018 memoir chronicling her struggles with coming out and identity, her work as a transgender activist and advocate, finding love with a trans man, and more. So I thought this one would be a fascinating read as well. And the last two nonfiction books I have, I cannot remember. Like I said, I went down a rabbit hole, and these two books are not on any of the lists that I'm linking down below, but I found them somewhere in my journey of research of what books that I can recommend to celebrate Pride Month. I might have just grabbed them off the shelf while I was in the library. So this first one is called Real Queer America, LGBT Stories from Red States by Samantha Allen. This one says, a transgender reporter's narrative tour through the surprisingly vibrant queer communities sprouting up in red states, offering a vision of a stronger, more humane America. 10 years ago, Samantha Allen was a suit and tie wearing Mormon missionary who cited the Bible to denounce homosexuality. Now she's a senior Daily Beast reporter, happily married to another woman. A lot in her life has changed, but what hasn't changed is her deep love of red state America and of queer people who stay in so-called flyover country rather than moving to the liberal coasts. This one would probably be a really good book club book. This one would probably spark some pretty animated discussion, but it just, I don't know, the premise really fascinated me. This one might be coming up in a wrap-up in the next couple of months because LGBT Stories from Red States, interesting. Back has some quotes, again, by Jennifer Finney Boylan, who wrote She's Not There. Jay Michelson, who is the author of God versus Gay, The Religious Case for Equality. Yeah, I can't remember what list this book, I found this book on, but yeah, it grabbed me. And finally, the last book I have to talk about to you today is a memoir. It is called Punch Me Up to the Gods by Brian Broome. This introduces a powerful new talent in Brian Broome, whose early years growing up in Ohio as a dark-skinned black boy harboring crushes on other boys propel forward this gorgeous, aching, and extraordinary debut. Broome's recounting of his experiences and all their cringeworthy, hilarious, and heartbreaking glory reveal a perpetual outsider trying to learn how to be a man in a place, in a family, in a community where everything he is seems to run counter to everything he's supposed to be. So that's the last one I have to talk about. So obviously, by the time this posts, you know, we'll be well past the midpoint of June. And I'm not putting these out there so that you're like, oh, just read these in June. The whole purpose of doing this video is just to celebrate Pride Month. And that's what we do in June. We celebrate it even more than we would normally celebrate it. I think it should always be celebrated. But of course, we have our months where we celebrate particular causes more frequently than usual. So really, I'm just kind of putting these out there, not just to read in June. You don't have just 10 days left to read these books. No, put these on your TBR and read them when you can get to them. This is more about awareness. This is more about talking about these books. So like I said, the websites where I found these particular books, I will link down below. Go to those websites, look at the other books. There's so many, and it was so much fun to go to the library and pull these off the shelves and just fill my bag and ask the librarian, is there a limit to how many books I can check out in one time? And her just going, nope, was just a joy. So it was so much fun. I'm gonna see how many of these I can read. So it would be really fun to at least put 2 on my wrap up for the month of June. Nevertheless, they're all going on my TBR. So I will be reading all of the ones I talked about today. And I hope you will too. If you've already read some of these or one of these or any of these, I would love to know what you thought about them. If you have some recommendations of your own, I'd really appreciate it if you put that down in the doobly-doo. Thank you so much for watching. I really enjoy that you're here, and I love putting these videos out and talking about books, and I love engaging with you guys, all of you who have commented. I just absolutely love talking with you guys. If you're still watching at this point, I'd really appreciate if you gave that like button a boop, and a subscribe would be super helpful. Again, thank you very much for watching. I love doing this for you, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.